Which country has the biggest economy on Earth? Which country produces more than $27 trillion in a single year? Which country created the companies that dominate almost every industry? Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Nvidia. Which country's films shaped global culture more than any other? Which country has won the most Nobel Prizes? Which country has the most Olympic medals?
Which country has the strongest military, with bases spread across the planet? And here's the question nobody asks. How did one nation become so powerful? Because on the surface, it looks like natural success. But when you zoom out, when you trace the systems, the alliances, the institutions, the financial deals, the wars, the migrations, the accidents, the timing, it stops looking like luck. It begins to look orchestrated. This isn't the story of America winning the world. It's the story of how the world became wired into America, financially, militarily, technologically, culturally, academically, until breaking free became almost impossible. And the first piece of that system was money. Yet even this was only the beginning. In 1944, the world was in ruins. Europe was a skeleton. Asia was exhausted. Currencies were worthless. Nations were desperate for something stable. So 44 countries gathered in Bretton Woods, searching for a new financial order. They needed one currency to stabilize everything, one country to anchor global trade, one power strong enough to guarantee it. And only one nation had gold. Only one nation had factories left intact. Only one nation's banks had survived the war. So the world made a decision that would define the next century. They tied their currencies to the US dollar, and the US dollar tied itself to gold. In a single night, America became the financial backbone of the planet. But this wasn't charity. This was leverage. If every country needed dollars, every country needed America. And yet this was merely the foundation of something far bigger. Even with a new financial order, Europe is still broken. Its factories destroyed. Its people starving. Its governments collapsing. So the United States launched the Marshall Plan, billions of dollars in aid, money that rebuilt roads, bridges, railways, ports, farms, and entire cities. But here's the part no one ever talks about. Europe had to spend that money on American goods. Europe was rebuilt with American money by buying American products. America revived a continent while turning it into a guaranteed customer. Europe got stability, America got dominance. Yet what came next would shift global power even more dramatically. In the early 1970s, the U.S. was bleeding gold, inflation was rising, foreign governments were demanding gold in exchange for their dollars. So President Nixon made a move that stunned the world. He ended the dollar's link to gold. Overnight, the U.S. currency became pure paper, backed by nothing. Any other nation would have collapsed, but America did something else, something bigger, something that ensured the world would still need dollars forever. The U.S. approached Saudi Arabia, the biggest oil producer on earth. America would protect the kingdom militarily. In return, Saudi Arabia would sell oil exclusively in U.S. dollars. And because every country needs oil, the blood of modern civilization, every country suddenly needed dollars. Oil became the hook, the dollar became the trap, and the world had no choice but to walk in. Yet even this massive shift was only setting the stage for a deeper transformation. Money gave America leverage, but people gave America the future. While Europe and Asia rebuilt, something quieter happened. The world's smartest minds began leaving their countries and heading to one place. Scientists, inventors, engineers, mathematicians, dreamers, refugees, entrepreneurs. They didn't go to Moscow or Beijing or Berlin. They went to America, not because America was perfect, but because America offered something powerful. the idea that anyone could rise. Countries offered citizenship. America offered possibility. And possibility is the strongest magnet in human history. Then came Silicon Valley, a handful of towns that reshaped the entire world. The microchip, the personal computer, the smartphone, the search engine, the social network, AI labs, cloud computing. Every layer of the digital age was built in America, often by immigrants America welcomed in. Google? Immigrant founded. NVIDIA? Immigrant founded. Tesla? Led by immigrants. Microsoft? Led by an immigrant CEO. America didn't steal the world's talent. The world's talent ran toward America. But the next move would give America a form of power no empire ever held. While America attracted the world's talent, it also built something unprecedented, a global military network without colonies. The U.S. established more than 750 military bases in over 80 countries. Every ocean, every choke point, every strategic passage, every region where conflict could spread. Rome used legions, Britain used colonies, America used alliances. Nations invited U.S. troops because American protection was cheaper than building their own armies, safer than trusting their neighbors, and more reliable than global institutions. The U.S. didn't force itself onto the world wanted American security. But then something happened that locked America's military dominance into place. In 1991, America's only real rival collapsed, not slowly, instantly. The Soviet Union fell apart in 900 days. 15 new countries appeared overnight. Eastern Europe broke free. The Iron Curtain dissolved. And every country once terrified of Moscow looked west for safety. They didn't join China. They didn't form their own bloc. They joined NATO. America didn't conquer Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe aligned itself with America. Each new member expanded America's reach deeper into the continent, closer to Russia's borders, and further into global influence. And what this created was a world with one superpower, one financial system, one technological core, one cultural engine, one military umbrella. But even this wasn't the real secret. The true genius of America's rise isn't in any single system. It's in how all the systems connect. Every part reinforces every other part. The dollar funds the military. The military protects global trade routes. Trade routes increase demand for the dollar. Institutions enforce American-designed rules. Rules create stability that attracts global talent. Talent builds American technology. Technology spreads American culture. Culture increases trust in American markets. Trust strengthens the dollar. It's a loop, a flywheel, a self-reinforcing machine. And once the machine started spinning, it became nearly unstoppable. China tried creating an alternative financial system, but still holds over $1 trillion in U.S. assets. Europe tried building its own tech giants, but still depends on American software. Russia tried projecting military power, but its richest elites hide their wealth in American banks. BRICS tried building a rival currency, but still settles most trade in dollars. The Middle East tried diversifying, but still partners with the U.S. for security. Every attempt to escape the American system reinforces the American system. And this leads to the final, quietest pillar of all: trust. The world doesn't trust America because it's flawless. It trusts it because the alternatives are worse. In moments of crisis, globally or locally, the world runs toward America, not away from it. And that's the ultimate form of power, the kind no empire in history ever held. America didn't design every piece of this on purpose. Some moves were planned, some were luck, some were timing, some were necessity. But together, These moves formed a system so complete, so interconnected, so deeply embedded into global life that it looks orchestrated, because in the end, it might as well have been. That is how America quietly took over the world, through systems, not soldiers, through design, not domination, through architecture, not conquest. And that is why, after 80 years, no one has broken the system. And maybe no one ever will. Every single subscribe, every like, every comment, it's what keeps us creating and sharing with you. Your support means the world.